Environment, Social and Governance is CS Professional Paper 1. In this video, I will be telling you the complete context and overview about the subject and also an announcement about the CS Professional coaching from Ekcel Academy for this particular subject and also for other subjects. Let us get started with Paper 1, the overview about this subject. So the first thing is that we should understand name of the subject, Environment, Social and Governance, Principles and Practices. This is one of the first subjects which you have, and there is a reason for this. And also we should really appreciate ICSI for being ahead of the curve, that is adding a complete subject relating to environment, social governance. I'll tell you why. Environment, social governance as a concept has been evolved for more than 10 years, but it has become very prominent from 2020 onwards, from COVID onwards, when we had the entire pandemic. The whole world suffered due to the pandemic. After that, this became important. So let me give you a brief idea about what is this environment, social governance and why this is becoming so important. See, in simple, the entire corporate world, let us try to keep it simple, the entire corporate world is run by investors, people who invest money. It could be a retail investor like you and me. Let us say we buy shares in the Indian stock market of any one company, or we may buy a mutual fund. So indirectly you're buying shares of different companies. So that is a retail investor like you and me. It could be an institutional investor. It could be a hedge fund. It could be a venture capital fund. It could be anybody who is putting in money for any business to earn more money. So these are investors. And without investment, no company is going to grow and no country is also going to grow. So when we look at investors, obviously investors want more money after they invest, correct? That is basic common sense. But also investors want to manage their risk and their money should be as safe as possible. Yes, only when you take risk you can earn. But are we looking at all the kinds of risk is the question. So till this COVID came into picture, everybody was focusing only on financial risk, But once COVID came, everybody realized that we have many other risks, social risk that is related to society, health reasons, correct? That is what happened in COVID. Environmental risks, which is the biggest challenge which we are facing as a humanity today. Today we feel that terrorism is a problem. Yes, it is a problem. There are other conflicts which is a problem. Yes, health is a problem. Yes, but something bigger than all of this is the planet Earth. We know very well about climate change. The summers are getting hotter, the rains are getting heavier, and we have had multiple incidents across the world where we have had extreme weather events. Extreme weather events which is devastating villages, cities, floods, which we have seen even in India. Even big cities like Bombay, like Chennai, Bangalore, they have all suffered. Delhi, even big cities. So imagine smaller cities and villages and farmers. Everybody has suffered due to the change in weather, change in climate, which is an existential crisis for the future of our generation, our next generation. This is a very big problem. So everything should be connected to business and environment, and that is what people realized. And in COVID, nobody thought COVID can be a business risk. The whole world went into a standstill, correct? We had lockdowns and lockdowns and lockdowns. So many problems were there. So with all this, it is very important that investors start to take a look at all the risks and they put their money. And for that, investors primarily in the US, because see, US is a $22 trillion economy. $22 trillion economy. India is a $3 trillion economy. So they're 7 times bigger than us, minimum 7, maybe 7.5 times bigger than us, right? China is the next big with around $17 trillion economy. So usually all these new trends start in the US, all these concepts start there. So since more money is there, more risk, so people are putting in the money, they wanted to keep their money safe, right? So that is why they said that let us look at all the aspects, and they started doing something called as ESG investment. That means the person who puts money, that is especially the hedge funds, especially the venture capital firms and investment firms, institutional investors, they said that we will invest in companies which is looking at not only the financial profits at any cost, but companies which will make profit. Obviously, without profit there is no business. We need financial profit, but the company should be sustainable. The company should think of environmental aspects. Company should think of social aspects. Social aspects like what? The labor laws, how the employees are there, how the employees are treated, how the suppliers and vendors are treated. If employers have any problem, how are we protecting them? And obviously the governance. So environment, social and governance. Governance, because we have had corporate scams in every country. Whether it is the 2008 financial crisis in US or in India, we had multiple issues like the Vijay Mallya issue, that is the bank loans, that is the NPS, Mehul Chokshi. We had so many issues. We had ICICI Chanda Kochar, Sahara Subrato Roy. So there have been multiple corporate scams, not just in India but across the world, and primarily this is a governance problem. This is a governance problem. So please try to understand the big picture. This video I'm going to give you the big picture, bird's eye view, and then we can go into the in-depth analysis of each of the concepts. So like this, environment, social and governance, all three aspects, the companies which are looking into, the investor felt safe to put their money, because the future, anyone who invests for long term is for 20 years, 25 years. So when they put in their money, that money should grow over a long time and the money should be safe. So it is a very fine balance you should do. So they started calling this as ESG investment, that is investing money in companies which is thinking of environment, social and governance. So for example, let us say it's a soft drink company, or it is a cosmetic company. So a lot of these soft drink, cosmetics, they all use plastic bottles for the food or for the cosmetics. So if an investor tries to invest in a company which has an alternative, instead of plastic, can we use some sort of material which is biodegradable? Because plastics are polluting the forest, plastic are polluting the oceans, plastic is polluting everywhere. So cosmetics also same way. So all, not just ladies but men, everybody use different kinds of cosmetics. Even a soap is a cosmetic, soap which you use to have a bath. So all these things come in plastic. So can we have something which has a long term impact, which it is having a sustainable material? This is one example. Like this, in every industry, in B2C, in B2B, in all the industries, can we invest in such a way that the company is also sustainable? Because investors realize that this is not just about being good to environment, being good to the society. If the company cannot survive because of the environment and social reasons and governance reasons, then what will happen? My money is also going to go as an investor. So it can be said that yes, society and environment and governance is looked into, but there's also a underlying selfish interest to keep the money safe, which is good. There's nothing wrong in that. So that is why we have realized in the whole world that unless companies are truly sustainable, unless companies are able to change to the needs of the society and environment, companies cannot survive. So earlier, this environment, social, governance and all was more like a fancy thing. It was not compulsory. It was not a necessity. But today, every company in the world, every country in the world has realized that if we don't make sure that we are complying with all the requirements of that, I cannot even survive. There have been so many companies which did not change and they have fallen. Today, all the car companies, electric two-wheeler companies are coming out with EVs. Why? Because they know that they cannot survive in the long run. So let us say somebody has put 500 crores in a company and that car company says we will never make electric vehicle, we'll make only petrol, diesel and ICE vehicles. ICE is internal combustion engine. That company cannot survive because very soon, it may be 10 years, 20 years, we don't know, we will run out of petrol and diesel and all of that. So we have to move it. So with all this, the ESG investing started, and Then after COVID, it became prominent and it became very, very big. So this is a very, very short and simple way for you to put it, that whoever is putting money without ESG compliance, they realize that the future is not safe for them. They cannot grow the money, and companies itself cannot survive. There are so many companies where, for example, if they don't adhere to environmental pollution standards, they cannot survive. So like this, we have many issues which we need to go. So talking about our subject, let us look at environment social governance, which is given as a complete subject for you. I'll tell you why it's a very interesting thing. They're talking about what are the principles. First we should learn these principles, then we should learn what is the way to practice it, how do we implement it. If you look at the objective of this particular subject in the ICSI material, if you look at it, they're saying that to develop the skills of high order, so to develop skills of high order, to provide knowledge and insight into the best governance practices. That means in the whole world, what are the different governance practices? We have to learn that. So today, there are companies which have multiple locations, what we call multiple MNCs, multinational companies, and Indian professionals have to work with different countries. So knowing those respective laws becomes very, very important. Okay, provide through knowledge of insight into the best governance practices, best risk management, ESG principles, and corporate sustainability reporting. Corporate sustainability reporting is compulsory for the top companies. Even in India, we have the new BRSR which SEBI has come out with. Business responsibility and sustainability reporting. How sustainable is the company? So this is there, and this is compulsory, which is a direct result of the ESG reporting. Fundamentals of the ESG, importance of ESG, ESG as a business strategy, key ESG factors, ESG and sustainable development, ESG as an investment, ESG as a management systems. So all these things, I'm really happy that ICSI has brought this book and brought this subject, because usually others take time. So in other courses, they don't even know these things are there. So ICSI has been a pioneer, and they've made sure that this subject is added, because this subject gives the latest industry requirements. As a professional student, if you go tomorrow and say that I have studied ESG and I'm ready, so companies want that, because that is the requirement. Even a small company, they want to do ESG compliance today because that is a requirement. So this is what we need to understand. And here something I want you to see, that why this is a separate subject, what is the growth potential for us. The global ESG and sustainability advisory, as a company secretary, what is our job? We advise different companies, we advise different people. So the whole global market, advisory market, will be reaching $39.3 billion in 2023, and the best part is the market is estimated to grow at a compounded annual growth rate of 6.3%, which will go to $72.4 billion by 2033. So when such a big market is there, our company secretaries are perfectly poised to be the advisors. Just imagine, we are so lucky. In ESG, what is G? Governance. Governance is what? Corporate governance. Making sure the boards of that is board of directors, the boards of different companies are functioning properly. Making sure we are complying with all the rules and regulations. And remember that governance is a bigger pie. Compliance is one part of governance. Please understand that. Governance is a bigger pie. In that, one small part is compliance. So our role is going from compliance to governance, and that is the vision of ICSI, and that is why they have added this subject. And this is something which you should be really happy. And I'm telling you people, if you are perfect in ESG, if you are interested in ESG, because I have done some courses in ESG, which is international courses also I have done, the opportunities are global. If you really are good, let us say for example, Global Reporting Initiative is a global way of sustainability reporting. If you are perfect in GRI, you can get a job anywhere in the world. So these are the kind of opportunities which will grow because of the global ESG advisory market. So please understand this background. These things are not there in your textbook. I'm trying to give you the overview about this subject, which will give you the confidence to study this and the motivation to study. See, if we are not motivated, we are simply studying for exam. That will never do. But now you know that if I study this, I have a great future. That is something which you should really be inspired about. So, as you know very well, we had a concept which you may have also studied earlier, that is people, planet, and profit. That means this concept has been there from the 80s itself, from the late 70s, 80s itself. Usually, all these things usually start in Europe, then US, then it comes after 20, 30 years, it will come to India. Okay, because all these are developed nations. So they said that every business should first think of the people, then the planet, and then make the financial profits. So this was very much theoretical. No company was doing, everybody was worried only about the profits, which is financial profits. Only the financial profits all the companies were worried about, and really nothing much happened, and it was just in the paper, everybody wrote for exam in every country and they were doing. But today, because of the environmental destruction, because of the social problems, because of other issues, companies are realizing that society and social issues are equally important. So what was people, planet, and profit? Today, it is nothing but our ESG, that is environment, social, and governance, and the ESG compliance. And ESG compliance, as I told you, is a very, very big market already in India. In fact, one of my students working in a jewelry kind of a company, jewelry, and she was telling me in that company they had to do lot of sustainability reporting because they do a lot of exports to other countries, and those countries are telling that unless you don't have this ESG and sustainability reporting, we don't want to deal with you, because we have a mandatory provision in Europe that if you are dealing with any company, that company should also be ESG compliant. So it is just global and it is just unbelievable. The opportunities are great if you are ready to learn, and this is an inevitable future. So what is people, planet, profit? Today has become ESG, but it has also become mandatory. It was not just like something optional. India has adopted BRSR. Top 1000 listed companies in India should report BRSR, and it is effective. It is already effective. So whoever has filed the financial for this year will have to comply with it. So that is how serious and how big the opportunity is for us. So now I want you to understand that behind me you can see the boardroom, board of directors room, you can see. So you will be an advisor in the boardroom, and today all the discussions in the board is revolving around ESG, because in Europe it has become compulsory in almost everything. In US it is becoming, after Joe Biden administration took over, they are very, very serious about ESG, which was not the case when Donald Trump was there. So with all the European compliance, with US compliance, they are owning most of the market. Of course, China, what happens, nobody really knows because of the political situation there, and they are not at all worried. And now America, Canada, European countries, they don't want to deal only with China. They have something called as China plus one. That is why countries like India are benefiting. That means they want to manufacture outside China also, because they are not following any of the environmental standards or labor law standards, anything like that. So there are countries, including India, which is going to benefit hugely by all of this. And if you are an expert in ESG, you will be perfectly poised for any role in the world. And the luckiest part, I'm telling you for the second time, we were already experts in governance, that is corporate governance. So company secretary means corporate governance, especially when it comes to the listed companies, we were the go-to person. So now if we upskill and add our knowledge relating to sustainability reporting, that is only environment and social, all the sustainability reporting practices which are there globally, the integrated reporting, all these things are amazing subjects, and we are the best person compared to any other profession. We are already having the complete knowledge of governance. We just have to add environment and social. And let me make it clear, don't think environment means like school we study. No, this is about environmental compliance. We don't study about rivers or mountains. Don't get confused like that. It is completely law. It is completely law. It is sustainability reporting standards, and it is not about the environment or water or something. Yes, there'll be some basics related to that, but not the science part. Let me make it very clear for you, so there is no confusion. So you will be the advisors, and please do take this subject extremely seriously. Now let us quickly go into, now I think my video purpose was primarily to give you a background, give you a context, then quickly we'll go through the syllabus, and finally I'll tell you about our Excel Academy classes for CS Professional. So as you can see here, we have Company Secretary Professional, ESG Principles and Practice. The syllabus, first part is 65 marks, which is governance and sustainability. So this is primarily what was in old syllabus. Many things are here, and they have also added some amazing things which is related to the international practices, what should we do in India, things like that. Risk management is similar to the old syllabus, not much has been changed, but the importance is that because in many companies, company secretary is also given risk management responsibility. So that is why we study this as a separate part. And also for exam oriented, this is highly scoring. I'll tell you how to do that. Last part is the environmental sustainability reporting. This is a whole huge ocean by itself, and I have done some courses relating to it. I'll also share that when we do and meet in the classes. Okay, let us look at each of the chapters. I'll just give you 1 or 2 lines because this video is already getting long. I don't want to make it even longer. I'll give you 1 or 2 lines to give you the background and context and the confidence that how you can understand it. Legal framework of corporate governance. So try to join the dots. Try to join the dots. So here they're telling about in the whole world, what is our legal framework? In India, you may have LODR, then you have SEBI, then you have the RBI and all the other company law provisions. We have that. But globally, what is corporate governance? Why do we need corporate governance? Remember that any of the major scams is because of lack of good governance. The board did not have the process and procedure to stop the entire corruption, to stop the frauds. So we study the conceptual framework. What is this and why is this? And it's sometimes you may feel it's boring, but when you look at the comparative analysis, it is interesting. Legislative corporate framework for corporate governance in India. So what are the laws in India? All your LODR, ICDR, those related laws which is there for compulsory in India. In the corporate governance we study that, and some basics in the company law. Board effectiveness and building better boards. So this is actually chapter 3 and chapter 6. They have combined and they made it into one chapter in the new syllabus. So board effectiveness. What are the best practices which the board has to do? Because the company secretary advises the board. You will not advise about business, they know how to do business, but you will advise them about the compliance aspect, the governance aspect. And you look at any company which is really famous and which is done really well. And the best example always comes to the mind is Infosys, because Infosys was the pioneer and the first company which took corporate governance so seriously. They told that, see, we are going to be so transparent that investors are going to get confidence to invest in my company. Now you tell me, will you get confidence to invest in Infosys, or will you get confidence to invest in Vijay Mallya? Of course, Vijay Mallya is kind of doesn't have control over UB right now, but let us say he was there. Will you get confidence to put money with him or with Infosys? Obviously, you will say Infosys because of their governance standard, because of their reporting. They were the first company to start even sustainability reporting before it was compulsory. They started it long ago. So when they took that, other companies started to follow, and investors started to get the confidence. Okay, the company is transparent. There is no golmaal. There is no fraud. So like this, the company gets more capital, the company can take more risk, the company can earn more profit. In very simple words, if I have to tell, that is the crux of it. So anybody who thinks this reporting, this governance and making sure that corporate governance is strong is not important, that directly impacts your bottom line, and that is what we study over here. Then board processes to secretarial standard. Secretarial standard 1 and 2 is the creation of ICSI, which is again compulsory as per section 118 subsection 10 of the Companies Act, which is a great addition, something which has changed our profession. We are having the respect and demand in companies. Don't think only listed companies, in all the companies, because of secretarial standard. It is compulsory for all the companies. All companies have to mandatorily follow this. So board processes on how you should conduct the board meeting, what is the notice, then how do you finish the minutes with respect to secretarial standard is what we study here. So just try to connect the dots. First is a zoom out picture, conceptual clarity of what is corporate governance in the whole world. Then we come about India. Then what should happen in my company in the board level. Then we talk about how do we execute it. That is the secretarial standard. See the connections going from a top to down approach. Bird's eye view, you are zooming in, correct? Board committees. This is your company law committees which you study. Audit committee, CSR committee, stakeholder grievance committee, all the committees which you study there. We go much deeper here in terms of the practical aspects. How are you going to conduct the meetings of the committee? See, executive level, it is only exam related theory. Professional, so you pass this exam, very next day you are a company secretary. You are expected to actually conduct these things in the real world, right? You cannot say, I don't know sir, I just studied for exam. You really can't say that. Okay, next thing is our concept of governance in professionally managed companies and promoter driven companies. India, most of the big companies are also family run businesses, but very professionally managed. You maybe have Reliance, you may be having Godrej and company, or a pure corporate company would be something like a Infosys, where they don't have family members, but they are running it very professionally. Because we as company secretaries will be advising them, a great addition by ICSI is this chapter. So what is the governance in professionally managed companies? See, in professionally managed companies, the next generation is very important. So let us say Mukesh Ambani of Reliance. So already see their governance is so good that their children are coming into the picture because they are having the training from last 7 to 8 years and they will be taking each thing. So that transition from Mukesh Ambani to next generation is happening very smoothly, and the governance aspects related to that is what we study. We don't study the business aspects. Okay. Board disclosure and website disclosure. As a company secretary, the more we disclose, the investors get more confidence. The more we hide, nobody will believe our company. So the board of directors are obligated under the law, whether it is the disclosures under Companies Act, under SEBI, under RBI, or the website disclosures, it has to be done, and that is what gives confidence for investors. This whole subject, please study with the angle of investors. How do we make them comfortable? How do we make sure that we give them good returns? How do we give trust for them? They should feel a lot of trustworthiness in the company, right? So that is the angle of this subject, and how do we implement it is with the corporate governance strategies. Then another excellent addition is data governance. Data governance is one chapter number 9 which they have added. You are not going to study all computer subjects, but how important is data? Today without data nothing happens. How can you take decisions with data? How can data improve in your corporate governance and board governance? Amazing subject. And what gives me so much of excitement is that this is cutting edge, latest, what is happening in the corporate world. ICSI already made it a subject. It is becoming a new discipline, ESG, and ICSI already made it a subject, so they're ahead of the curve, and we are taking the leadership in getting the importance of that. Then we talk about the stakeholder rights. So all your whistleblower related concepts, you have studied it, correct? In your executive, you have studied whistleblower. How do we protect them? How do we protect the employees? Who are the different stakeholders in the company? What are their rights? So in ESG, we can't only think about financial profit at any cost. That is a 1970s concept. Today, if you don't treat employees well, they are not going to stay with you. If you want them to stay with you, you need to treat them well in every way. And if your employees stay with you for long, the company will grow very well. That is a basic common sense in any company. If your employees are always changing, nothing is going to happen. You're not going to move ahead at all. Okay. Business ethics, code of conduct, anti-bribery. Because of hundreds and hundreds of scams in the world, this subject becomes very important for us. Board accountability on ESG. When can we ask questions to the board? What should they report? And how can we question them? Are they complying with ESG standards? That is what we study in this particular chapter. Then we study environment. Environment means, again, don't get scared. We're studying about some of the laws relating to environment, the basics. Corporate social responsibility, which will be very easy for you because you already studied section 135 in pretty good detail in the executive program. Now we'll study how do we implement it, the practical aspects of implementing it. So the substantive law you already know, but the practical aspects of implementing it, what is annual action plan, how do we draft annual action plan, what is impact assessment, when do we need impact assessment, what are the things to be done while doing impact assessment. So I can give you some extra points because I'm also a CSR professional under ICSI, so we can do that. Green initiatives in India and across the world, what are the different green initiatives which are done. Governance influencers like our ICSI has a lot of governance awards. What are the steps they have taken? What are the different institutions which are taken? So who are encouraging governance? So we study that in this chapter. Then we have the empowerment of the company secretaries. How can company secretaries go to the next level, and how can company secretaries take these responsibilities of ESG? How are we the best profession in the whole world to take this? I was speaking to one lady, just a very small thing you people should know, and she helps in GRI, Global Reporting Initiative compliance for different companies. Primarily they are big software companies and stuff like that. Her background is actually not related to CA or CS. She has been a consultant in writing reports for a long time. So when I spoke to her, she's a very senior person, more than 30 years experience. So she said that, Alok, company secretaries are in the right time, right place, because from 2020 onwards, ESG has become mainstream. ESG has become something which every company needs. And till now, company secretaries are already expert in governance. So you are the go-to people. You people have a lot of scope if you become expert in the ESG and the other skills relating to reporting. If you people learn, sky's the limit, she told, and I wanted to share that with you. And then when we go ahead, we have risk management, which is exactly same as the old syllabus. Risk management is highly scoring, also exam wise, very scoring. You just have one chapter for 20 marks. But why risk management? Because a lot of companies want company secretaries to also take this responsibility. That is why we have this. Then we have the part C for 15 marks, sustainability audit, checking how sustainable the company is, ESG ratings, then what are the regulations relating to it, especially like I told you about BRSR, which is SEBI is coming out for the top 1000 listed companies. Then we have integrated reporting framework, global reporting initiative, business responsibility, sustainability reporting of, so all the reports, how you should prepare, what is the comparison, what is the reason behind it. This is something which, if you guys are ready, this subject is going to give you lot of opportunities in the future. So next question is, okay sir, all that fine, you gave us a very good background, then very briefly, very quickly I told you about all the chapters. Now how do we prepare for these exams? Yes, we are here at Ekcel to help you with this, and this subject is going to be highly practical because I have worked on it in a practical way. I'll be able to give you 10 times more than what is there in the study material and the angle in which you have to study. So what we have from Ekcel Academy is the recorded classes, then you have the personal mentorship and mock exam, and most importantly, live doubts clearing session. See, as a student in professional, most of you are actually working or doing a 21 months training. So having all the classes in the live is going to be very difficult to match your time and my time and all the students' time. So we are coming out with the concept of recorded classes where stage by stage we give you the recordings. Like let's say first you get 3 chapters recording, you watch that 3 chapter recording, then you would have come prepared for our live doubt clearing session. So this will be where like late night or weekend or something, which will be easy for you to come, and me, because I am also in practice. So this way you will come prepared for the class and all our doubts can be cleared. What are the kind of questions in exam, how to write the answer in exam, all these things will be covered over here. And as usual, our executive, especially if you have already been in our executive, you know the benefit of our personal mentorship and mock exam, which is completely exam oriented, which helps students to pass. We are going to continue that program. So talking about the CS classes from Ekcel Academy, main thing is practical mentoring to write CS professional exams, which is the missing link where students know the subject and they're struggling. So many students have seen they pass executive, somehow they pass, which is very good and very great, but they get stuck in professional because professional is 100% practical orientation, and when you learn it from somebody who is in practice, you will get that edge, and that is what you can get at Ekcel Academy when we do it. So what you can do is for the June 2024 exam, you can choose the entire module 1 classes, you get the recorded, all 4 subjects you get. CSR is the elective which we will be giving as the classes. CSR is the elective, so if you have CSR, that is the option for you. Then we have mock exam, live sessions for doubt, mentorship program, and a dedicated WhatsApp group where I will be there personally and clearing all the doubts in this WhatsApp group. So that is what will be there. If you say no sir, I don't want entire module 1, in executive we don't have that option, but in professional, because already many, if you know how to crack the exam, you may need just help for 1 or 2 subjects. We have an option of even subject wise. In professional we do have, you have recorded class, but we can't give mentorship because it's difficult for us to give mentorship only for the subject wise. So for the whole module you'll get mentorship, but you do get live sessions, you get WhatsApp group, you get everything else. Only that mentorship, because it takes extra time for us, it will be difficult for us to give. But if you want that, I would highly suggest you to go for the module 1. So you can WhatsApp us on the number you can see. So you will get all the details. You can see here we have our number. This is our phone number, you can contact. Okay, this is our WhatsApp number 973-973-3400. You can also go to our Ekcel Academy website. You can just fill a simple inquiry form there. So we will only get back to you. So we have a chat bot there, so you can just give your basic details. We'll get back to you if you are interested. So I would highly recommend you people to consider this, and you can always check our sample classes. You don't have to immediately join. You can check our sample classes. See, we want you to pass and it should be comfortable for you. So make sure that see a few classes, get the confidence, and then join. But if you are already our executive student and now come to professional, I'm sure you have no doubts. So immediately join, and the fees related details and everything else, I am not the person concerned. As I told you, you can contact our numbers and we will always be there. So I hope this video, though it was a little long, I think you got a complete picture about the subject, about the background, the bird's eye view of what is this, what is the global picture. So this is the added advantage when I teach you this subject. These are all the things you get, and you can score 60 plus in the subject without any doubt. That is the angle in which we are going to go. So I would invite you to come and join us for the professional coaching module 1. And if you don't want the entire module, any subject in the module you can choose. And when you do that, you are cutting short your time. Joining us, you will save a lot of time because you already have other commitments like going for training or job or something else. So this will give you a faster way to pass the exam and score high marks. So I would like to see all of you in the classes, and I hope you do well. Thank you, and anything else, let me know in the comments. I'm always there. Thank you very much.